I will be participating in the 14-day quarantine challenge in Hong Kong, in which you're not allowed to leave your hotel or you get arrested and fined. I'm at the SFO airport right now and it's super duper empty despite the noise and everyone's sort of wearing masks, which is a good thing. They'll put a bracelet on me and you can't take off your bracelet for 14 days. If you cut it, they will fine you and they will arrest you. So let the challenge begin and I'll see you soon. So after we got through security, there's actually a lot of people. So we found this little outdoor terrace in SFO and it turns out it's actually really hard to get infected when you're outdoors. Probably gonna get some fresh air before the 14-hour flight plus the 12-hour waiting of the COVID results, because what happens is when you land in Hong Kong, they're gonna swab you and you have to wait 12 hours for the results, and you basically have to wait at a convention center. So this is the last fresh air we're gonna get, and then we're screwed. Okay, we are now in our full gear because we're about to board the plane. It is super exciting here. Everyone's got their own costume. We have blue ninjas, we've got surgeons, we've got astronauts. Super exciting.
One eternity later.
So finally arrived at the hotel. I feel like a human being again, and the whole journey took 24 hours. Let's see if I can actually see it here. 24 hours, 48 minutes, 37 seconds. And I started this timer on my smartphone when I was in the SFO airport, right? So then we finally landed, and we kind of go through a bunch of different checkpoints, and we got slapped with this bracelet here that we can't take off for 14 days. I mean, you can take it off, but then you kind of lose the game, and the penalty for losing is you go to jail and you pay a fine. And if you win this challenge, then you get freedom and you get to walk around like a normal human being. So we take a bus ride to a place called Asia Expo, and then we put our luggage down, and then we take another bus ride to a place where we spit into a test tube to see if we have COVID, and then we take a bus ride back to where the original luggage was, and then we just wait and wait and wait. The horror stories is that you would wait from 8 to 12 hours after your 14-hour flight to actually get your results. But the good thing here is that we actually only waited like 5.5 hours, which sounds terrible, but actually isn't that bad considering the expectations of going in there. So I'm just only glad that this kind of 24-hour, 48-minute journey is over. So real estate in Hong Kong is super expensive, so everything's super expensive normally. So a very, very tiny place might cost like $2,000 to $3,000 USD just to rent. So we got this place for 28 days, and just let me show you around before I reveal the price. Let me start with the front door, right? So this is the front door, and so there's like a little walk area here where you can put all your stuff. And there's gonna be 2 closets, and there is then a luggage rack there. Also, most of the rooms don't have microwaves, and for us they provided a microwave, and there is a lot of water as well that they provided us, and they said they would give us like 2 water bottles a day, which probably isn't enough, so need to figure something out there. And then there's a refrigerator that we can put, to-go food in, things like that. In the microwave, we can just reheat to-go food because we can't go outside. Now, the really cool thing or hardcore thing about this is when we checked in, they said, yeah, with this key, you can go in once, but if you go out, you can't go in again. And of course, that's reasonable because we can only stay in this room we have to stay in this room for 14 days. So you cannot yeah, if you leave this room, you can't come in anyway, and then they'll arrest you. So yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. And so yeah, so this is kind of the main sort of office slash living area. There's like a little work desk here, and then from the front door you can kind of walk into this bedroom with this king size bed right here. So this is a dedicated room, and it's actually like pretty large. For scale, you can kind of see that couch, and I'm kind of all over here. So like this in itself is like this room in and of itself is already like a pretty small hotel room. But then in addition, you kind of get this extra space here. Now I was pretty happy with this. And there's a bathroom over there, but I was pretty happy with this until I found out that there's actually an extra space here, which is like a second living room over here. So there's actually like another TV here, one in the bedroom, and there's like 2 sofa areas here. So if you want to work here, you can. And yeah, I mean, that's the hotel tour. This place is pretty huge, especially for Hong Kong. And we got it for 28 days for about 21k HKD. So divide that by 7.8. I'll do the conversion to USD in the subtitle of the video. But before I go, I kind of want to show you this view. I thought we would have a crappy view because we got such like a good deal. But right here is the Peninsula. It's one of the most kind of like famous hotel buildings in Hong Kong. This is the same view that the Peninsula gets, except we get kind of an angled version of it. But if you're actually here and you kind of take a look, it's still pretty decent. Let's take a view in the living room area. I'm kind of curious what that's like because I haven't really looked at it yet. So yeah, I mean, plenty of natural sunlight. So one thing I forgot to mention is that this is a negative pressure room. And what a negative pressure room is you see this vent here. So normally the vents pump air in, right? These vents pump air out. And then the only way we get kind of oxygen is kind of through the door gap, right? And that's the only fresh air that seeps in. And so what this technique does is what a hospital does to create what's called an isolation room. And an isolation room is just basically the idea of you want fresh air coming into a room, but you don't want the air escaping and kind of cross-contaminate room to room, right? So if I have a highly infectious disease, you don't want the oxygen I'm like, or sorry, the air that I'm expelling to be kind of circulated around the other rooms, right? So now this vent is gonna expel it to a place where it can't cross-contaminate other rooms. But yeah, I mean, we can still get infected though, if someone like coughs in the hallway.